Hi, I'm Paul Adams, and I'm a JPL Solar System Ambassador and also professor at Fort Hays State University. And I'm presenting this to help out with the Makerspace Summer Science program that you have. So I'm going to share with you something a little bit different. It's not an activity you're going to do right away, but it's something you can do tonight. And that's to go out and I look at the night sky, see some things there, and then also have a chance to participate in Globe at Night. Globe at Night is a citizen science project where you're really asked to just see how dark the sky is, and it's a worldwide effort to do that. So let's get started. Like I said, this is first of a series, but let's get started on this one. So tonight, what we're going to do is first, I want you to be aware, and I'll move myself around here, is that usually we would do these things at the planetarium, but since we can't get the planetarium out because of some of the things that are still happening in the world, we're just going to show you how you can go out and do it yourself. But I would encourage you to contact us, go to Fort Hays State University and Science Math Education Institute, and this fall, when things are better or any time in the future, you can schedule a time to have our dome come out that's inflatable, and then inside this is a planetarium, and it would be a great way to learn the sky. But since it's a summer, it's a great time to get out and actually do it for real. And so that's what we want to do, is to make this happen for you. So what do you need to get ready for this? Well, a couple basic things, and I'm going to give you lots of options here, and you can try out. One of these is you need some way to help you find your way through the skies. And there are a lot of different tools out there that you can look at. I'm going to show you a couple here in just a second, but I want you to be aware of what's there. If you're more into the web and you like paper maps, I have maps like this one that says the evening sky map, and on it has a list of the events that are happening. On the back of this map, it has things that you can look at for, upside down. You can look at with binoculars or a small telescope. Interesting things to look at. So this is really a great thing. It can be downloaded, printed on paper, and I'll show you what it looks like a little bit more. There's Google Sky, which is maybe not a way to find things, but a cool way to look at the sky if it's cloudy, and I'm going to show you that briefly. And Stellarium, which we'll do here right before we introduce Globe at Night, where it's a free planetarium software that can help you figure out whatever is in the sky whenever you want to look, and it's a really great thing. But if you're more into your cell phones, like whether it's an iPad or iPod, whatever it may be, or if you like the iOS system, you can use those too. And two that I've used is Starwalk 2. Very nice. There's a free version and a pay version for either system. It does a great job. And what you do is you take your device and you can take and point it to the sky, and it'll tell you what you're looking at. So if you really don't feel comfortable with maps or other things, use that one, or Sky Map, which is designed for the Android, and they'll be able to allow you to point somewhere and actually see where they're at. And I find them both useful. So before we go on, the big constellation we're going to teach you about, and I'm going to move myself out of the way, is the constellation Boötes. And this is part of what the Globe at Night is looking at, is to see how much of this constellation you can see at night as a way of seeing how dark the sky is. So Boötes, in case you have never seen or heard of him before, this is an old-time picture of him. And if you look closely, you can kind of see the stars go here, here, down to here, and then back up over into here and back, and I'll show you a little bit more in a bit. And it's sometimes called, the part that people recognize is that if you look at the pattern I shaped, and I'm going to show you that a little bit more, or actually I can show you a little bit right now, is that if I go here, here, and kind of down to here, and then up and over, anyway, something like that, it makes a kite, a big kite in the sky, which is pretty cool. We'll show you a little bit more about that. So sometimes it's been called a herdsman, just herding animals, and you can kind of see it. But the other thing it's often called is a plowman. And if you look at it just right, and we'll show you a little bit more, this says the big bear is that you arc down here, and it's instead of the big bear, there's some major that everybody knows, the Big Dipper. is that sometimes it's viewed as a plow, and this is a plowsman. So this recognizes farmers or herders. It's really an agriculture constellation. You know, at this time of year, it's probably a good thing. In terms of what it looks like, the most prominent piece, which is really down in this area that you'll be able to pick it out, is called the star Arcturus. It's 37, called about 38 light years away. So if you took a flashlight and were to shine towards Arcturus, it'd take 38 years to get there. It's a really long time. But it is one of the brightest stars in our sky. It's the fourth brightest star, which means it's pretty easy to pick out at night. And in terms of its size, it's 25 times the size of our star. And down here in this picture, if you look, here is the star Arcturus, which is pretty big, 20 million kilometers across. And if on the same scale, that's our sun. So our sun would be swallowed up by Arcturus. But lest you think Arcturus is really super big, this is a star Antares, which means rival of Mars. It's at the heart of the Scorpion constellation, and it is even bigger. And when we come back later to talk about some summer constellations, we'll talk about the story of the Scorpion and this being the heart star of it. And, you know, we notice, as I said, the herdsman and the plowman, but if you were in South America, you might have grown up knowing this is the Piranha constellation, which is kind of scary. You think about those teeth-eating people or things, and, you know, but that's what they thought. In China, they drew it, they thought it was the blue dragon's horn, the way it was kind of shaped. So you see, there's a lot of different ways that you can look at this and see it. Now, let's talk about how we go about finding this star Arcturus and the constellation Boötes by going to some other software. So, one of the ways, as I mentioned, was the SMEICamp.com, and right here you can see the SMEICamp.com is right here, and it is kind of cool because it has on it the teapot, which we're going to talk about. There's Antares. And what it shows is also where the constellation of Boötes is, as well as the Big Dipper. And so one of the things that we talked about is how do you find it? And if you can find the Big Dipper, which most people can, and this is looking to the south, and you see that right there is the south. So if you hold this chart up with your thumb on the south and look south, you'll be able to see the Big Dipper. And what we say is follow the arc to Arcturus. And if you do that, that little arc of the Big Dipper's handle will take you right to Arcturus. And here you can kind of see, and we'll sketch that out right in here, you can see where the big kite is in the sky. Now that may not be as I said, the easiest way maybe to get your phone and use one of the apps on it to point and help you find it, but this is one way to do it. And what's neat about the SMEICamp.com is once you know where that is, you can begin to look for other things like the summer triangle that we'll come back to in a couple weeks, or the great teapot, or the giant scorpion, or Hercules, the hero. We have many, many constellations that we can choose from that comes up. Another tool that you can use to help you out, maybe if you're really interested in the night sky, is what's called Google Sky. And I've given you that. You just look up Google Sky and you'll get to this. And this is kind of neat because it not only shows you the constellations historically, as you see here, but it could show you things like Hubble showcase. It could show you all sorts of things, which is kind of fun. But we'll put that away. We don't need that one right now. What we really want to get to is the program Stellarium. So this is the program Stellarium, and for now I'm going to shut off my video for you and focus on this program. So, and we'll go ahead and say, yes, we'll accept that. And what we have is the Stellarium is a planetarium software, so it can help you look at whatever you want in the sky. So just to give you a little bit, I looked up Stellarium and it takes me here to the site, but I'm really interested in saying, what does the sky look like right now? And so I click on the time clock and I click on it, and oh, this is what it looks like outside now, which isn't really very useful for us. But I'm going to set it for the 18th of January, or 18th of June rather, when you're looking at this. Oops, going the wrong way. And I can click it up 16, 17, and up to 18th. And we'll do about, maybe 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. And you'll notice that this clock is a little bit different than what you're used to. And it's different because it does star universal time. And so it's on a 24-hour clock. And let's go ahead and leave it about, we'll just say it's at 9:45 to start with. So we've got this started and we can do things with this. And what's really cool is that we can begin to say, okay, where is Bootes? And that could be hard to find. So one of the ways that we can do it is I'm going to turn on constellation art. And what's really cool is that it shows me where everything is on this date. And then I can also do one more thing, which is I can turn on constellation art here that comes up. Oop, we'll leave that on, constellations. So if I do that, I can zoom in and out of things. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit more and move things around, still looking to the south. And if I do that, I'm still looking for my main. So again, looking towards the south, we can begin to see the big constellation. And I'm going to look, and if you find again the Big Dipper, what you'll be able to see very easily is that the Big Dipper follow the tail and arc down to Arcturus, and you can see the big kite in the sky that comes up that we pointed out to you earlier. So this is all you have to do, and if you play around with the stellarium, you're going to find a lot of features here that we can't show you all at once, but we want you to be aware of them that are there. So now, what is the real project? This is how to find one constellation, some constellation tools, but the project is GLOBEatNight. And let's begin to talk about. Okay, so GLOBEatNight. We've gone to the website GLOBEatNight, pretty easy to get to, and you can kind of see what's there. And this is really kind of a neat thing because it has here a whole project that you can do. And like it points out, it's a citizen science project to look at the impact of light pollution in our sky. And one of the things they have, and I'm going to go ahead and make it easier for you to see by turning off my webcam, is that as it talks about, it's the night sky, looking for it, and they need your help to go out and look at the constellation Bootes that we've talked about and try to see, and again, you can see the Big Dipper and it arcs down here to Arcturus, that's the one thing you remember, and find it. And when you find it, it's to record how many bright stars of Arcturus you can see. And that's really all there is to this, is to look and see what happens looking for Arcturus, the big kite in the sky that you see here. There's this video that you can watch when you come back to GLOBEatNight. But the biggest thing is that you have an app that you can download to do this. And there's two ways to approach it to do this project. And I'll bring up both of them. One is that you can go to GLOBEatNight, and if you do, and I'm going to bring back up real quick my web camera, is that if you do bring up GLOBEatNight, there's this app that's there that will take you through everything you need to know to enter the data about what you see and how much of the constellation you can see with Bootes. And you can either use it this way or you can do it online. Now, before we get too much into that, and we're really about done what we do, is I want to show you what it is that you actually do with this project. And instead, she shows you that the app is there. And what you can do, and let me get down here, recording the light. And it's a bunch of material about loss at night, but let me take you back up. I'm sorry about this. Let's go through the app and show you what happens. So let's say you want to submit your data. So what you do is you click on this and you go out and say when you're going to do it and the time. The nice part about this is that if you do it online or with your app, it will record it. And you can take your computer outside to do it. Now the other thing was it wants to know how dark the night sky is. And this is really, well, that's part of it that you want to do. But where did you make your observations? Again, you can tell where you're at and the computer will map it out. And I've got my latitude, longitude. You can make any comments that you want there. But then the real thing is how dark is your sky? And so this is what you do. You go out and you look for the constellation. And, we already talked about what's there. And, we know it's Arcturus, and we arc to Arcturus. And the question is how many of the stars you can see. So when you're looking up the sky, you can say magnitude 0, which means all you can see is Arcturus. It's not really a very good sky. Or magnitude 1. And magnitude, by the way, is just referring to how dark the sky, how bright the star is, or at least how much it can cut through. So you'll see Arcturus and the star Vega. And you can see as you go each magnitude, and the higher the number, the dimmer it is, which may seem kind of strange, but the bigger the number, the dimmer a star is, and you keep going through. So what you do is you look up at the night sky, you look at the constellation, you find Arcturus, and you look around it, and you say, gosh, what stars can I see? And you keep clicking through on this, you say, nope, I can't see that many. And if you're really lucky, and I mean really lucky, you have a sky that's so dark that you can barely figure anything out. You may find that you're only about a magnitude 4 that you have. But this is the trick of this, is to go outside, find Arcturus, find the constellation Boötes, and come in here and say, how many stars can I see? And that would be there. And what are the conditions like? That's the last thing. Is a clear sky, and sky conditions, if there's smoke or there's some reason that the sky isn't right, you write all of that down. Don't worry about this, and you submit your data. And really, that's all there is to this, is find the constellation, see how dark it is, and then from that, make a difference. Now, on this website, and I'm going to let you explore it on your own, is there are really quite a few other things that are here. You can come in, read all about it and get more. You can actually follow the data about light at night, and you can do several things with it. The other piece I would point out, and I'm going to go all the way to the top, is that when you do this, you can come in and do this more than just for our project. You can do it for other things. And one of the things that you can do is look at other constellations. And if you do, for those that like a story, you can click on those constellations, find it, and you can also get the story or the mythology of it. So go out there, get those star things, find the constellations that we want, tonight's Boötes, and then go out and see how much of it you can see and record that as part of Globe at Night. Again, if you feel questions, you need anything, just put in your questions onto the website and we'll get back with you. So with that, I encourage you to get out there, to go out and look at the stars, and we'll see you again when we do some shorter programs where we just talk about different stars you can find.